And good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending upon where you are around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, the HR Passion Guy, and I'm bringing you another installment of Passion Fridays. So, whether you are watching us directly from LinkedIn Live, from where we're emanating today, or if you are watching on Facebook, on Twitch TV, YouTube events, or IG Live, take a moment and click share and tag five of your closest connections, followers, five of your more popular ones to join in today's Passion Fridays, where we discuss things that we're passionate about, passionate people who are on purpose, living in the center of their authentic purpose, and all kind of topics that you would want to join in here. So join us in that discussion. We had a couple of Fridays that we took on vacation and we've enjoyed that vacation time. Drop in the comments wherever you are around the world. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us on various platforms. I see folks are coming in. Keep coming right on in, and click share and tag someone to join us in the discussion. Someone might be looking for that career opportunity, and boy, do I have an opportunity for you. I'm trying to make sure we lighten this. I'm trying to give me some light in the background. So if it's a little dark, I apologize for that, so that it wouldn't be the glare. But it is the Passion Guy, and hopefully that's shining through. All right. So I hope that you will click share and tag someone to join us. You can follow us on LinkedIn by clicking that connection button, or on Facebook on the Love and Stuff community page. You can click follow us there. On Twitch TV, we are HR Passion Guy, as well as YouTube events, and we are LAS Passion Guy on Instagram. So any of those places you can click follow to join us in that discussion. And I wanted to tell you about an opportunity because the city is a great place to work. I have worked here for 18 years now and going on 2 months. And when I first joined some 18 years ago, I said I was going to stay for just a few years. And at the 5 year mark, I joked with the people who I told that and said, okay, I'll give it another five. And so here I am 18 years later. And what I've enjoyed most is the opportunity to work with all different kinds of lines of business, from recreation to public works, um, to the Zoological Institute at a point, historical museum, all of those cultural things, to general services where facilities management happens, and landscaping and those types of things happen. So you get to meet all kinds of people, and you get to see various lines of business within the same organization. So it's a great place to work, whether you're working in human resources like me and doing hybrid, working some in the office, working some from home remotely, or whether you are an essential worker or someone on the front line who is in the office or in a satellite or mobile location daily. I think if you talk to various people throughout the organization, you'd find that there are varied experiences among the employee experiences, but all of them love public service, and you would need to have a love for public service and seek excellence in providing that service, so that we create an environment where Detroiters want to work, play, live, and flourish. And so we certainly are grateful for this opportunity. And as part of this opportunity, in human resources, which has seven divisions within human resources, one of the divisions, which I happen to proudly be a member of and the HR operations general manager for, is called the Policy, Planning, and Operations Division. So we'll get into that in a minute, but I hope that you will click share, as I am getting ready to do, as we take a quick pause to do that, to click share and tag some folks to join us in the discussion, and some folks to talk about what your passion is. What is it that you are passionate about? And we can include that in our dialogue and conversation. So thank you, whether you're watching on LinkedIn. I see folks that are watching on YouTube events. Thank you so much. Folks that are watching on Facebook. And if you just drop in the comments where you are around the world and maybe what the temperature is like there. I am in sunny downtown Detroit today, where the temperature is about 74 degrees. It feels breezy and good. 70s weather is my living, my kind of living. And as you can see, I've dropped the shades to kind of cure some of the lights, but I think I probably need to lift the shades to give you a little bit more light for me. But where are you, and what is the temperature like where you are, wherever you are around the world? And so I'll tell you a little bit about this policy planning and operations. It's really in the last several years, HR underwent a restructure. And in this restructuring, these new divisions were created. And one of them is the policy planning and operations division, where we have a couple of positions that are available, but one in particular that's available. Hello, Bridget Lamar Jackson. I should send you the link so you can come live with me. This is one of my great colleagues who started actually the same time I did. So I would love to have you. I'm going to send you a link so that you could come on and just tell people how you really enjoy working for the city. I know we've had interesting paths and experiences. So I'd love to just share with that as we promote this position, shout out this position to people. Hello, Tim. It's 18 Celsius in Jersey, and you know it's not the New Jersey, it's the old Jersey, right, Tim? Thank you from across the pond. I appreciate that. He is in is it the English Channel, Tim? Am I saying it correctly? You are outside of France, which I'm trying to get there in real life. But you are in that, is that the English Channel? What is that called, that area? But thank you from across the pond, my dear friend, who is a fitness expert, and we hope to have him on soon. Bridget, I'm going to send you the link. So, Bridget, give me a like that you will come on with me because I want to just share that with you. Yep. Okay. English Channel. Okay. I just want to make sure. And so, Tim and others and Bridget, we have this policy planning and operations division that handles all of the policies that have citywide impact. So, you know, we have several departments who have their own policies, right? But there are policies that cover all employees as it relates to safety and management and different codes of conduct and different things like that. Policies that cover drug testing and all of those types of things. So that emanates from this unit, which is in policy planning and operations. And the operations part of it is the budget, right? It is the internal service provider to human resources for all things that they need from equipment and everything else. And operations helps to develop the budget and then monitor the budget for human resources, which is hovering around a $14 million budget. So that's part of our responsibility. And then that piece in the middle, that P in the middle, I call it, is the planning function. It's the strategic planning function. And we have the pleasure of seeing projects that aren't currently happening or programs that aren't currently happening, developing scopes for them, and getting approval to implement those. And so we are kind of a gap analysis group, right? And we help to lead projects to launch and deliver these programs, interrelated projects, and then hand them off to one of the other divisions as we move on to the next thing, all in the hopes of continually creating an environment where we're a great place to work and an employer of choice. And so I'm looking for a replacement for a great guy who got engaged and relocated and got another position, has win-win-wins going on in his life. This is a position where you might have the opportunity to do hybrid, but you will have some points at some point in the future where you may have some in-office time. So it's not 100% remote, but it is a great opportunity to work on a great team to both analyze gaps and provide analytics and insights. So HR helps to make better business decisions that drive the HR strategy to the center of the business strategy. And so that's what this position is about. It's called a project manager and analytics specialist 3. So in our job families within human resources, we have series, and I'm going to send fantastic. Bridget is telling me she would love to come on with me. I love to have you. I love it. I love it. This is one of my fantastic colleagues who, again, I started with at the beginning. While I'm bringing her, would you click share and tag someone to join us in this wonderful discussion? Bridget is a valued colleague and friend. And I am going to, oh, I know, wrong place. All right. So we're looking for a great person who has some exposure to analytics, preferably talent analytics, but data analytics would be good. We are new in our talent data analytics journey. Okay. So someone who's had some experience and exposure with that. And that, coupled with project management expertise and some human resources exposure, would make you a great candidate for this position. So it is a position in human resources. You get the opportunity to see all of the divisions because you'll have to work with them as we are launching our software as a service tool for talent analytics. You will get the opportunity to work with all of these wonderful divisions and the people in them. You should love to work with people. You should love process. You should love organizing things. You should love driving projects and activities toward outcomes and measuring those outcomes. Some of the wonderful projects that we have, of course, we have the talent analytics project that we are launching for the entire HR team. And then we want to deepen it by sending it forward to people managers. And we also have a digitization project. We're digitizing all of our filing for some 6,000 of the employees who we do the filing for or manage the filing for, and a system for policy management, which is called Power DMS. So quite a bit of project work. You'd have to come in hitting the ground running for project work because it does require you to lead some projects. So you would need to have some experience in leading projects, and we would love to have you aboard. I am just going to invite my colleague to join us. I hope that you will click share and have other folks join us as well. There she is. Okay, I'm going to have her join us. And while we're doing that, I just want to double back and say this is an opportunity that is available now. It is posted right now. I'll share my screen so that I can show you the posting. But if you go to www.detroitmi.gov, you'll be able to see it. I'm sharing the screen now. You should be able to see it on my screen, I hope. Sharing that screen now for you to be able to see it. Okay, very good. Should be coming up any second. Okay, give it a second. Tim is off the north coast of France. Thank you, sir. All right. I'm sending Bridget on. Okay. North coast of France. Yep. Waiting for it to come up on the screen. Should be showing there. Okay. Okay, I'll give it a second to populate. And Bridget, I just sent you the link, so I hope that you will join me now. Just double checking my screens to make sure it does populate. Okay, because I don't see it on one of my screens. While I'm doing that, I hope you will click share and just tag someone to join us. All right. All right, it is on one of my screens, not showing on my LinkedIn side. So I wanted to make sure my LinkedIn folks were able to see it and my Twitch TV folks were able to see it. I don't know if I see them on the shared screen, but it is the project manager and analytics specialist. The salary information is posted there. So there is a range of salary that would be commensurate with the skills and competencies that you bring to the position. It is what we call a certified regular civil service position. So you'll serve a probation of 6 months, and then you'll have civil service rights to those positions. And if you want to have more discussion about that, maybe we can have some. For now, it is closing August the 3rd. We've gotten some candidates, and I hope to have many more. It tells you a little bit more about the position there. I've shared some of the position information with you. It gives you some example of the duties. And of course, analysis, analyzing data is pretty big on the list of things that we want you to do, as well as project management, and human resources will be important. So this is what's considered a senior level position in the series. So the series will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's a higher level. So you're going to have to bring that sweet spot of human resources, data analyst, and project management with a strong skill and experience in one of those areas. And so if you are very strong in data analytics, that's great, but you're going to need to bring some project management expertise and have some general knowledge of human resources. If you're a human resources guru, that's great, but you're going to have some exposure to data analytics or talent analytics, and along with having done projects with which most folks that have cut their teeth in human resources have done some project management. So you want to make sure that you have that sweet spot, I call it, of those three. And so it talks a little bit about the knowledge, skills, and ability, the KSAs that you will need, and the minimum qualifications and experience, and some of the preferred licenses that you might have. I would include preferred if you have the HRCI or PHR or SBHR, those are also preferred as well, though not listed. Then it talks to you a little bit about what we call the subjects and weights. How will we assess candidates? We're going to assess candidates in 3 ways. We're going to have an oral appraisal with candidates, which is a structured interview, a behavioral-based interview. We're going to do a technical assessment, okay, which is a demonstration. We're going to evaluate based on your submissions, your training, experience, and personal qualifications. And those are weighted and listed there. 25% for that structured interview, 25% for the technical assessment, and 50% for the evaluation of your training, experience, and personal qualifications. And so you can go to the website and apply. Let's see if our good colleague has made it to join us. Okay, we'll give her a second too. All right, fantastic. Okay, let's see if I can. All right. All right. All right. And so that tells you a little bit about the position. What is it like actually being an employee of the city of Detroit? And I can tell you, having had this tenure that I have, this time that I've had of 18 years, there have certainly been great times and challenging times. But what I can tell you that I have experienced that has been consistent is we have somehow been able to attract, onboard, include, engage, and retain a wonderful group of committed public servants. And when you are working alongside people that really want to give their best and be their best and do their best for the citizenry, so that the services that the citizenry enjoy, you are in a great place. And like every place, there are varied experiences along the journey, but that is one that for me has been consistent. You know, I spent time in human resources in one of my notable places. I was going to say favorite, but I don't want to fall out with anybody who might watch this later. So I won't say I have a favorite department, but I spent a lot of time in the recreation department. And I'm always amazed and have always been amazed with the unsung hero status of the recreation department, because they do tremendous work in our community. From everything from sports, aquatics, arts and crafts, archery, you name it. They make it happen, which for many years was their slogan, we make it happen. And they would say, okay, Marcus, you're in HR, but you're our cousin. So we make it happen. And I was as connected to the services that they were providing to the citizens and visitors to our city, opportunities to recreate and opportunities for leisure, that I, as an HR professional, made it my business to go to all of the centers and all of the parks at least once a year, but as often as I could, especially during the summer months. So I'm kind of missing that, where I would just get the chance to watch the seniors and the children and the young adults and everybody everywhere in between enjoy the recreation programming. So you see, although I wasn't providing the programming, I was intricately involved in that programming from an employee services standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint. And that's why I think it's great work. One of my colleagues is joining us, and I am excited to have her. I'm going to bring her on. Bridget Lamar is an HR professional who works for our police department, and she's one of the managers there. Well, help me welcome Bridget Lamar. Thank you, Bridget, for joining me impromptu. I love it. You are live.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, colleague.
I love it,
Appreciate
colleague.
that. I
I
was just
love it.
going through, I was at lunch and I was like, let me see what's going on here. I am at the police department. New way of talent acquisition. I love it.
Yes,
And of course,
absolutely.
we
And
have
anytime that you,
positions
anytime,
in the
colleague, you
police
want to come on.
department.
Yeah, anytime, colleague, you want to come on, I'd love to have you on to talk about any of your positions. But I was thinking of you when I thought of
Yes.
this 18 years, because we both have been here 18. We started the same time. You started a
Started
few
the
weeks or
same
maybe
time.
a month or so before me, but you same group.
Same group. And I think we're the only two left.
We're the only two left. I think
Yes,
that's
sir.
good, Bridget. I don't know.
It
I
is.
think that's good. Well, what would you say over these 18 years? What would you say to people who are considering coming aboard to the city of Detroit? Why have you found this a rewarding place to work over these 18 years?
Well, I found it a rewarding place to work over the past 18 years because truly I am a public servant.
Mhm.
And one that born and raised in um, the city literally raised me, fed me, educated me. My grandfather worked for the city of Detroit. My father worked for the city of Detroit. So it's a legacy.
Mhm.
Um, my niece worked for the city. My nephew did an internship here. Wonderful opportunity. And as you said, it's so many opportunities within HR. One can develop and grow as an HR professional
Mhm.
within this organization.
Mhm.
And it's been a good 18 years for you. Like you, my story was I'm only staying 10 years. I was going to stay 10 years until my son graduated from high school. Well, my son has graduated from college,
Mhm.
getting ready to have a baby now.
Wow.
Um, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
And it is a wonderful opportunity to serve the citizens and visitors of the city of Detroit. And as I said, to truly be a public servant,
Mhm.
one who has a servant's heart.
Mhm.
This is a great job for them.
Mhm. Mhm. And so I want to ask you this question because you could tell us what a day is like in human resources now, but that probably is different than what a day was like in years before. Can you pull from your museum of memories what has been a day where you said, this is the day that I loved being in human resources. This is why I'm here. What are because there aren't any 2 days that are alike. So pull a day if you can, or some story that you can share with us of you said, yep, this is why I'm here.
Well, as you said, no day is a typical day. One of my days a day where I said, this is why I'm here.
Mhm.
It was a young man that was coming in for an interview.
Mhm.
I knew I wasn't going to hire him just because he wasn't prepared. However, I stopped and I told him, this is what you need to do to get prepared. I asked him, I
Mhm.
said, now, would you mind if I went over your resume with you? If I did some coaching with you, if I did some interview prep with you, because he came in not really, he didn't know, I would say, how to prepare for an interview, how to properly dress, how to properly prepare himself. That in and of itself was more valuable to me giving him those nuggets than hiring him or trying to hire him for something that wasn't for him. Me preparing him, and he came back and said, "Thank you for this." I mean, and I probably spent a good hour or two with him, and just being able to help people along their way. I like to do development of employees, because I think it's so important. And as you know, we could do this work with our eyes closed, because we've been doing it for quite some time. But as a manager and as an HR pro, to develop someone who's coming in and preparing them for a job, because that's something that they can take and help them for a lifetime. And if I could every day, that's what I would do.
Yeah. You bring up two things that I want to delve in a little bit more about: the mentorship, and then you and I both cut our teeth, as it were, first in employee services, and really that was generalist work, because we kind of did everything from training to recruiting to employee relations, some labor relations. Now in the industry, Bridget, we see a lot more people that are focused in specialist roles, and they don't get those exposures. I think the city of Detroit is a differentiator for human resources professionals in that regard, because you can get exposure to all of the disciplines. Even if you're in a talent specialist role, you can get exposure to all of those disciplines in rotation and opportunities. Like I said, you and I in employee services, but we got the chance to get into the teeth of class comp, into the teeth of labor relations, into the teeth of recruiting. So talk to me a little bit about that, because it looks like the industry is really going to specialty areas. People are specializing in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. People are specializing in learning and development. What do you think about the future of generalists, and how does the city fare in that regard?
Well, in my opinion, I mean, of course, this is how I grew up, and as a generalist, I think you get your feet wet in all of the areas, and you have the knowledge. And one of the things, and I think about when you're looking at the professional organizations such as SHRM, you need to have that generalist experience in order to have that knowledge base to pass that test. And if you don't have that generalist experience, I mean, fortunately, we had it all. I mean, we touched everything, and that gave us, and especially now, I find that broad knowledge that I have. I mean, people can come to me, and we were in a meeting the other day, and I think I was just saying, I was talking about step codes, and it was like, how do you remember all of that? I was like, I just do what this was just something. So that versus the specialist area, I would say to any HR professional, if you're going the track of a specialist, still do your due diligence research and your other area. You have a knowledge in a broad of areas. You eyes on one area, because me, I love employee services. I love to touch the people. And employee staffing and recruitment, okay, class comp, okay, I can do it. But I think you are going to have one area that you want to concentrate in and that you like better than others. But ensure that you do your due diligence as an HR professional and researching and doing that professional development in other areas where you may not be as strong. So if there are other opportunities in those areas, as an HR professional, you can easily transition into those areas. Or if you're taking their certifications, then you have the knowledge of that. That's my 2 cents there.
Yeah, I think it's an important 2 cents. And I had to just, I got a cue from some of our Facebook followers like, okay, Marcus, you're the love activist. I am. I love HR. So I had to switch it out to let you know I'm the HR passion guy, one and the same. But
Mm-hmm.
I think you raised a great point because I've always been a great test taker, Bridget, but
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't have to study for the PHR because it was work that I had done.
Yes.
So when I saw the study guide, I said, oh, this area, oh, I might need to brush up on this area
Mm-hmm.
or this area. And I took the test, did one sitting and got the certification. And I think in part it's because of the generalist experience. If
Mm-hmm.
I had just been a specialist, I might have still been able to be a successful candidate, but I would
Yes.
have had to study a lot more because it would be
Mm-hmm.
information that I wouldn't have had exposure to. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the benefits of having that broad exposure. You know, we
Yes.
even had an HR university here in the city where people who
Yes.
didn't have that broad exposure got the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to get exposure to those other areas. And I think that that's critical for professionals to be able to take lateral moves and have interesting career progressions that might not just be this way, but give you an opportunity to go around an organization. So I really think that that's
Exactly. And Marcus, it to that point, exactly what you said. I mean, and I think for both of us, because we've had that broad experience, we've had a lot of different opportunities.
Mhm,
For me now, I have the police niche, if you will, with
mhm,
public safety. I've
mhm,
been here the past 6 years or so.
mhm,
Um, and it's a little different than general HR because we have both sworn and civilian members here,
mhm, mhm,
and some of the things that we deal with from a police perspective or providing HR for a policing agency
mhm,
is a little different.
mhm, mhm,
But again, that foundation was laid having
mhm,
the experience in it as a generalist,
mhm,
in because learning the policies, learning the budgeting, learning class comp,
mhm,
learning labor relations, dealing with the external agencies like the EEOC, the Michigan
mhm,
Department of doing unemployment hearings,
mhm,
all of that.
mhm,
And so having that experience, I think
mhm,
we just have this a depth of experience as a generalist. And I
mhm.
would encourage anyone just to, if you have the opportunity to have a generalist position, take it.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking with Bridget Lamar Jackson, who is a colleague of mine, and we both started at the city around the same time. And she's sharing from her arsenal of great experience that she
Mhm.
has worked in various capacities in HR and at police as well, and is currently serving there as an HR manager. I want to ask you, because you mentioned earlier, the second thing that you mentioned that I wanted to delve into, Bridget, is
Mhm.
that you could do mentoring, I'm paraphrasing, every day. And so
Yes.
the mentoring aspect of mentoring new HR professionals or new employees that come into the city, talk to me about where that love and desire for mentoring is coming from and what you'd like to be able to do and see.
Well, Marcus, it's coming from, I mean, just I am a nurturer and caretaker. um by heart. I mean, that's me. I mean, if anybody says, one of my old managers, Benita Cheetah, told me I was the social worker.
Mhm,
Um, of the if there's a problem, I'm going to try to fix it for you.
mhm,
But to mentor someone, I just believe God gives us all gifts,
mhm,
and those gifts are for us to use
mhm,
and not for us to hide. So if I can share the knowledge that I have and can help someone climb that ladder. They may climb ahead of me. Their career may take them to positions that is far beyond mine. That's
mhm,
fine. That's
mhm,
okay
mhm,
because I've done my job and my assignment to help that person along the way, to give them some nuggets as someone did for me.
mhm,
Because I think we always should not look down on someone. If we're looking down to bring somebody up.
mhm,
And you mentor them, you give them that because somebody had to teach us along the way,
Mhm.
had to have that patience
Mhm.
to say, let me show you this.
Mhm.
Because if we have the knowledge, we have a talent, what good is it if we keep it to ourselves? It's
Mhm.
not. That's not why God gave it to us. He
Mhm.
gave it to us to use
Mhm.
for Him and His purpose so that we can further people along the way. So
Mhm.
if I could every day, I would talk about workforce preparedness, to talk about, it's something, some people, it's as simple as they don't know how to get up and prepare for work. Doesn't mean that they are a bad employee. No, not at all. They just were not taught. So once you teach them, I just believe people do better when they know better. So if
Mhm.
you teach them that night before, prepare your lunch, look at the route that you're taking, always make a plan for childcare, A, B, and a C if you have children, and go with an open mind because you never know what that day will bring, what you will learn. And so, yeah, if I could do it every day, I would. Just simple things in resume preparation, preparing for an interview, the different types of interviews. Because a lot of people don't know, they don't know about organizations that they're going into. Just
Mhm.
do your research and
Mhm.
just preparing them. And people are so thankful when you give them that nugget. And I just say, people are like, well, what can I get? Nope, you can't give me anything. What you can do for me is pay it forward.
Yeah.
What I invest in you, you invest in somebody else.
Yeah. And for the early professionals, and I want to ask you in a moment, Bridget, who were
Mhm.
some of your influences when you joined the city or early influences in HR?
Mhm.
But when new HR professionals come, some of them don't come with that competency around influence and understanding how to influence, because a lot of times you won't be in a position necessarily of authority, but you still have to influence people toward a
Yes.
decision, right?
Yes.
Or being able to build those relationships and build that brand, right?
Mhm.
Because there are always brand challenges, but build that brand so that you can go back to those relationships and
Mhm.
utilize them, leverage them to bring the kind of outcomes that you want for citizens. But
Mhm.
who are your mentors or were your mentors when you first got into HR? Who would you say are some
Well,
of your
I,
mentors?
I would say, of course, my first manager was Dwayne Yule.
Mhm.
I find him. Till this day. I mean, we are good friends. I mean, he taught me the ropes there. Gil Oxidine, I think a giant in this industry. I would say Benita Cheatham, Kimberly Hall Wagner. I mean, for each of them, getting a nugget from
Mhm.
them and them teaching, it was all something different. I mean, and I remember working for Gail and I mean Ursula Holland too. I think about Ursula.
Mhm.
I think you started under Ursula. She was your
I
first
did.
manager,
She was.
and
Mhm.
working with Gail. Gail, I mean, she taught me that hard work. She's gonna stretch you
Mhm.
beyond your ability, but guess what? She's gonna grow you.
Mhm.
She has the ability to see something in you that you not may not necessarily see, and she grows you. I
Mhm.
think about Kim with her, just the way, her tact, her
Mhm.
professionalism,
Mhm.
um, and it's, well. Let me go back and let's look at it from a different view. She would say,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
giving you that different perspective, giving you
Mhm.
patience. And people will say, "Bridget, you have the patience." Well, no, not really. I really don't. But it's just learning that
Mhm.
and learning to be calm, because people come, and I would say to my staff, people come to HR not because they want to, but because they have to.
Mhm.
We're either on one end, somewhere in the middle, or another end. We're hiring you, we're counseling you, or unfortunately, we may be separating you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it's like I used to tell my son Jalen, HR is like coming to the principal's office in school. And so, well, that is for employee services, that is.
Right.
And so you have to do it with compassion. You
Mhm.
have to do it with empathy. and you have to do it with respect.
Mhm.
And people used to tell me, Bridget, you can discharge somebody and they're still smiling and they love you when you walk out because you're giving them a nugget. You're giving them
Mhm.
something. They say, listen, this position may not have been for you for whatever reason, but here, take this. This is a lesson learned. Take this. Um, and so I go back to say, with all of those mentors, learning something from
Mhm.
them, just
Mhm.
taking that little bit
Mhm.
and learning. And I like to say, for HR, especially employee services, should be the most professional or part of the organization. We
Mhm.
set the tone
Mhm.
in terms of professionalism, how to treat people.
Mhm.
People are our most important asset.
Mhm.
We have to treat them with dignity and respect no matter what they come there for, what type of transaction we're engaging them in,
Mhm.
and treat them with respect. And I thank all of my mentors within the organization for growing me and helping me to climb the ladder within HR.
Hmm. That's awesome. And I'm gonna make sure I tag some of those people who are on LinkedIn who you mentioned so that they can get some of their kudos. Though I'm sure you have shared them with them endless numbers of times, but it's
Mhm.
great for them to see it on this platform as well. We're talking with Bridget Lamar Jackson, who is also an 18-year employee with the city of Detroit. And we're talking about Detroit being a great place to work, an employer of choice, and in human resources, a differentiator because you can get exposure to so many different aspects
Mhm.
of human resources that you might not in other employers get from a specialist standpoint. So we're talking to Bridget Lamar, and we just finished talking about mentorship. And I want to ask you, what advice will you give to someone who's watching this, who is considering applying for the city of Detroit? They're not quite sure. They've heard great things about the city, not so great things about the city. They're trying to, compare it to other organizations for human resources. What would you say to him or her about applying for this project manager and analytics specialist position?
Well, I would say give it a try. Um, you never know until you give it a try. The city of Detroit is a great place to work. Um, it's a lot of opportunity. Um, and I think that this as a career and not a job.
Mhm.
Um, and and I think it's room for growth.
Mhm.
I think in learning the policy part of the position, you touch every department with policy.
Mhm.
You help to set the tone for the policy, the procedures, budgeting. We're talking about positions, and we're talking about FTE. And one of the things, Marcus, and I'm sure we used to laugh about this, and I can't remember who told us this. I'm either thinking it's Kim or Gil. You have to know the business of your business partner.
Yeah.
If you're serving the health department, you have to know the business of the health department. If
Mhm.
you're serving GSD, you have to know the business of GSD. You have to know the culture and the environment. Working for the city of Detroit is like having many organizations within one organization. A department can have anywhere from 20 people to 3,000 people.
Mhm.
3,000 people, when you're talking about providing HR services for 3,000 people, that's the size of many organizations. And you
Mhm.
talk about 500 or 600, and when you, as a HR professional, are providing services to multiple departments, um, it's something, and oftentimes the departments, because you're their HR consultants, you develop relationships, and oftentimes it leads to other opportunities within those departments.
Mhm.
And when you talk about, and I was hearing you saying building relationships, I think that's half of it in human resources is building those relationships, knowing you may not know um, everything because there are a lot of policies, rules, um, but knowing where to go and building those relationships. So I could call you and say, "Hey, Marcus, I have a question about this. Well, you can give me the answer or say, Bridget, I don't have the answer, but I can lead you in a direction. So it's about building those relationships and with the city of Detroit. And as I said, I mean, it's an excellent opportunity. As I said, I mean, I've been here 18 years. My grandfather worked for the recreation department, worked as a boiler operator for recreation, retired there. My father was one of Detroit's finest. He worked for the police department for 26 years. So this is a legacy for me. And just like I said, literally, the city has fed, educated, clothed, and housed me and my family. So I have nothing but good things to say. And this is an opportunity. Hopefully, it's as good to whomever decides to apply for this position and is successful as it's been to you and I.
Yes. I am so glad that you were able to join us in this lunch hour. I am
Well, thank you.
excited to have
Thank
had
you.
you, and I hope that there will be people who love civil service, who love public service as much as you and I do, who will apply for this position and get the opportunity, I think, of a lifetime.
Well, thank you. And I just have to say, would love to come back and talk about the positions at the police department. And I have to say before I go, we are hiring police officers. Look on the website. We need people. So if you want to be the change, if you want law enforcement to change, be the change. Apply for the Detroit Police Department.
I love it. And of course, we'll have you back. Please.
Thank
Let's
you.
put it on the book so that you can come back, and we have to have more fine and blue, the finest in blue.
Yes.
We have to
Yes.
make sure that we have a talent pipeline for times to come. Thank you so much, Bridget Lamar Jackson.
Thank you. And thank you for
Colleague, as
having
we
me.
affectionately call each other. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yet another great reason to work for the city of Detroit. You saw Bridget Lamar Jackson, who is a manager, HR manager at the police department, and has served in a number of capacities over her 18 years of stellar civil service. And just like her, you could have the opportunity of your career, not just a job, the opportunity of your career. You should go to www.detroitmi.gov, find jobs, and find the job for you. The job for you just might be the project manager and analytics specialist 3. So thank you for joining us, whether you're watching on YouTube events, Twitch TV, on Facebook Live, on the Marcus R. Holmes page, or Love and Stuff community page, and where we're emanating from today, LinkedIn Live. I hope that you will tag some of your connections that are seeking an opportunity. Tag some of your friends and those within your circles of influence who want a great place to work and an employer of choice. You just happened upon one, the city of Detroit, and the Human Resources Department is looking for you. Someone who wants to come in to meaningful work and have meaningful impact. This is the place. Apply now. Thank you for joining us. Have a grateful afternoon and a grateful weekend. Don't forget to go to Amazon. The Gratefulness Journey every day is available. My first book, it is available there, and you can purchase one within a few clicks. And so we're excited that you were able to be with us today, and I hope that you will share widely, whether you are across the pond like Tim was, or somewhere in the United States proper. Tag someone who is seeking an opportunity. This just might be the opportunity for them. Thanks for joining us.